Okay, so I'm going to channel Ananda, and we're going to ask them about the signs of spiritual awakening that a lot of people are feeling these days. So I'll take a half a breath and they'll come through and we'll see what they have to say. We are with you again, dear ones. Your entire planet is going through a spiritual awakening. It is not only those of you that are consciously choosing to expand your consciousness that are having changing and ever evolving feelings, ideas and thoughts that are being precipitated by this shift in consciousness that your entire planet is going through. In fact, your entire solar system is going through a consciousness evolution, and it is being demonstrated within your consciousness as several different things. So the first thing is you are going to be having revealed to you your fears. What happens when you are entering a higher frequency area, and that is really what is happening not only spiritually for you as a species, but physically for your planet as it is entering a more highly charged area of this galaxy. Your solar system is hurtling through space in a spiral fashion, traversing into what is essentially a new area of the galaxy that you heretofore have never experienced. So this is a provable scientific fact. This is not spiritual mumbo jumbo. The Schumann resonance, the heartbeat of the earth, this seemingly unchanging frequency that has been consistent for many, many years as science has observed it, is now escalating rapidly. This is a scientific proof that you are entering into a higher frequency zone. What happens to you as a human consciousness when you enter into this higher frequency zone is that anything that is not of a high frequency that is contained within you must be revealed to you, because it cannot rise up that scale into that new frequency in the form in which it is residing in you. So for a lot of you, you have what would be considered fearful ideas or untrue ideas within your consciousness, and these are now going to be revealed to you over time as we travel with you into this new area of your ever-evolving species, your ever-transforming planet. Your planet is going through this as well with you. She is more powerful than you in that sense, so she is going to set the tone. She does not have hesitations like humans do. She does not have fears like humans do. This conscious being on which you reside, this is another aspect of the transforming nature of your collective consciousness. Gaia, this being on which you reside and which you have been taught has no thoughts, feelings, ideas of her own, is indeed a conscious being. And she is happily going into her next evolutionary stage. Just as spring turns to summer, so does this season of fear and judgment, separation and war turn into another season of a more loving nature. So these beliefs, thoughts and ideas that are incompatible with your ever-increasing frequency will come up in the form of exactly that, fears and ideas in the mind that scare you. If you have a spiritual practice, if you have been taught some basic spiritual principles, you will have techniques and structures, a toolbox, if you will, a spiritual toolbox to help you deal with these things. That is one of the reasons why we came through 4.5 years ago through this being, so that we could produce some components of that toolbox, and that is the books that have come through this being. The books that have come through this being are handbooks for you to help cope with these shifting and changing frequencies that you are experiencing. You cannot avoid them. You cannot dig a hole in the back garden and avoid it. You cannot climb a mountain and avoid it. It is far bigger than that. It is permeating the entire physical structure, the geological structure of your planet as well. So even hiding underground is not going to make any difference. There is nowhere to go other than up into the higher frequencies that are calling you. So if you understand that the physical world is a representation of consciousness, this is the non-dualistic teaching, that reality as you know it, this seemingly physical world, is being generated, brought into being by the collective minds of all of you and some beings that you cannot see, do not understand, both of higher frequency and lower frequency, we will say here. We will not go into detail here about that, but we are going into detail about those subjects in our next book, which will be out within a few months' time, to help you understand further what is happening with this expansion of consciousness. So these books are designed to help you understand that the fears and the limiting thoughts and ideas that you have are coming up now because they cannot be maintained in the frequency that you are being taken into. This is like being swept away by a wave. You can body surf it into the shore and enjoy it, or you can get tumbled around and go under. If you understand how to use the energy to your advantage, then you can use these coming years as slingshots, if you will, energies that are supporting you on your journey into consciousness evolution. If, however, you do not have a well equipped toolbox of spiritual skills, then you begin to become frightened. You might drink, or you might try and run away geographically, physically run away from the feelings that you are having. You cannot get away from them. So this is one of the first symptoms that we want you to really address. If you are feeling very, very antsy, if you are feeling very frightened, if you are feeling very emotional, you want to get some spiritual support happening in your life so that you can dialogue with someone. Even speaking to a friend about this is a good idea. However, if that friend is not on a conscious spiritual path, they may very well just tell you that they are afraid too, and you will be amplifying each other's negativities. You want to join in groups or study groups or practicing spiritual principles that are going to support you through this, people who can help you. This is one of the reasons that we do this work, so that you can freely access this kind of information. Another symptom of a spiritual awakening, surprisingly enough, in a lot of women, is a desire to have children. There is an entire new generation of spirits wanting to be born into this higher frequency. They have been waiting. They have not wanted to be born into the old world, but they want to be born into the new world. And so there will be many of you that seemingly are wanting to have children that it is illogical for you. You've either had your children and thought you were done, or you didn't want children and you were convinced that you never would have children. But the way it works in spirit is that when a consciousness wants to have a physical experience, and these are many beings of high frequency now, can come in because you are entering into these higher frequency realms. They are willing to come in now, and they are exerting a lot of pressure and inspiration for they're looking for bodies to bring them forth into physical manifestation. That is the process of creation that is at play in your world at this time. Now, there are beings that do not need a physical body to manifest, but that is not quite where your planet is yet. If beings start manifesting willy-nilly around your planet, you would be a little upset. So they are generally choosing to come through the agreed upon mechanism of bringing consciousness into physical form, and that is, of course, natural birth. So this is something that is going to be happening to you. Another symptom of spiritual awakening is a desire to be free. This is something that is a powerful force within your spirit. Your spirit is aligned with truth and freedom and self-expression. It is a naturally creative thing. And for many of you in this world, you have been trained into limitation severely, brutally, cruelly. And many of you live lives that are not in alignment with what your true desires are. You may not even know what your true desires are. You may just know that you do not want to do what you are doing right now. So for those of you that have an overwhelming desire to break free of the constraints of your limiting, regimented cultural training, know that this is a healthy thing, and it is in accord with the new frequency that your planet is traveling towards. Freedom. It is your natural state of being. Truth is your natural state of being, and love is your natural state of being. Freedom, truth, and love are what you are going to want to experience. Now, those of you that are living in the West are feeling those desires. You are feeling the need for that kind of self-expression. And when you look upon your governments, you feel the oppression, the mistrust, the untruths, the lack of love. You are feeling that, and it is as it should be. Your rapidly increasing frequency is going to be what topples the system. It is a system that cannot maintain itself as it goes into these higher frequencies, because these systems are not ruled by love, they are not ruled by truth, and they are not ruled by freedom. That is why you are seeing your freedoms increasingly taken away from you by this system. It is trying to maintain its death grip on you as a people. It is why you are having deceptions revealed to you. The frequency of your ever-increasing consciousness will not allow lies to remain hidden anymore. These are the symptoms of a society that is evolving. It looks like you are devolving, but the truth of the matter is everything is coming up for healing, both within your personal physical structure. So you may have physical symptoms of energies that have been blocked within you. So if you have repeatedly repressed sexual energy, for example, there will be symptoms arising in that part of your body to bring your attention to what you have been doing. Once again, using the spiritual tools that we are providing will help you come to understand these manifestations. So the other thing that is going to be at play in your consciousness as you go through this are the fears that have been instilled in you. So as domesticated creatures, and we mean that in a loving way, but bless your hearts, you have been domesticated. You are no longer wild, creative, free beings. You are domesticated. And often when you open the gate for a domesticated creature, it does not know which way to go, and it will stay penned up because it is all it has known. So there are many of you that want to stay at your jobs and want to stay in your mortgages and want to stay in your schools and want to stay in your rigid structures because your families, your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents were in those domesticated situations. But be brave and begin to make this journey into love in your mind first. This is why we talk about training the mind, because your behavior cannot reflect anything other than what you believe to be true. So if you believe in the security of a job, your behavior must align with that belief. You cannot leave your job. But if you train your mind and change your mind and begin to see yourself as a timeless, limitless being, you will begin to be able to act in a different way. So that is our recommendation for all of you that are seeking to understand this transformative process. Educate yourself about your mind, about your beliefs, knowing that your thoughts and feelings arise from those beliefs. Many of the books that we have written are speaking about this subject, and of course, as all of you that know us know, we tell you to do the lessons of A Course in Miracles, because that training program will take you on a path towards self-understanding, training of the mind, and focusing on love as the high frequency beacon that will lead you out of the darkness. We are Ananda. We are non-physical teachers. We have come here to assist you in your consciousness evolution, and we are doing as much as we can to provide you with as much information as we can, slowly and gently, as you retrain your minds, so that you do not get too frightened, so that you do not become too confused, because so much effort has been put into domesticating you. We must put a lot of effort, and you must put a lot of effort into retraining your minds towards truth, freedom, and love. That is your destiny as an individual. It is your destiny as a people. We will speak to you again soon.